Hi, I'm James Lebeck, and welcome back to the Life After Losses video blog. This is entry 240, letting go of what could have been. This week, I'm talking about something I didn't expect that would still ache so much. The future I thought I'd have. Not just what was lost, but what never got the chance to happen. If you've ever found yourself grieving the milestones you didn't reach, or feeling that uncomfortable tug of comparison when someone else shares their anniversary or their happily ever after, this one's for you. Let's talk about how we honor what we wanted without losing sight of what's still possible. You know that moment when you're mindlessly scrolling through your phone, maybe procrastinating on something important, and then bam, there it is. Another anniversary post, another 45 years and counting celebration, another couple beaming at the camera, weathered hands entwined, eyes still crinkling with shared secrets from decades of inside jokes. And look, I'm genuinely happy for them. I really am. There's something beautiful about witnessing love that's managed to outlast receding hairlines and reading glasses, that survived mortgage payments and teenager drama and whatever the hell 2020 was that threw at us. But sometimes, and this is the part I hesitate to admit, it also feels like a gentle knife twisting in my chest. Because when I see those milestones, my brain does this thing where it immediately starts calculating, like some morbid math problem I never asked to solve. And if I'm being optimistic about my remaining time on this earth, maybe I've got another 20, 25 years left. And when I tally up what I did have, which was 22 beautiful, complicated, absolutely worth it years across two great loves, the numbers tell me a story that I'm still learning to accept. My shot at growing old with someone, at celebrating our own weathered hands anniversary, that ship sailed. And I'm still standing on the dock, watching it disappear on the horizon. Even saying that makes my throat tighten up. But here's what I've learned about grief. Comparing pain is pointless. Your heartbreak isn't a competition with anyone else's. Your healing timeline doesn't need to match what worked for your cousin's friend and sister who bounced back so quickly after her divorce. But comparing outcomes, that's the sneaky one. That's the 2 a.m. scroll through your Instagram kind of comparison that leaves you staring at the ceiling, wondering what your life would look like right now if they were still here to argue with you about the thermostat setting. It's not about wanting what someone else has exactly. It's about mourning the future that you thought was yours. The one where you'd complain about each other snoring for the next 3 decades. The one where you'd perfect your eye roll technique every time they told the same story at dinner parties. The one where you'd grow into those couples who finish each other's sentences. Not because it's romantic, but because you've literally heard it all before. That's what I'm grieving, if I'm being honest. Not just what was, but what will never be. And we talk a lot about grieving what we've lost, but I think we don't talk enough about grieving what we'll never have the chance to lose. The anniversary trips that exist only in an alternate universe where cancer didn't win. The retirement years we'd spend bickering about which Netflix show to watch next. The decades of accumulated inside jokes that would have made absolutely no sense to anyone else. I had this vision once, probably during one of those half-awake moments when your brain gets all sentimental, of us as an elderly couple shuffling through a store, debating whether we really needed another throw pillow. Such a mundane little fantasy, but it felt so real, so possible that losing it almost hurts more than losing what we actually had. Because what we had was beautiful. But what we might have had, that's the ghost that follows you around, whispering about all the ordinary moments that would have been extraordinary simply because they happened together. So here's my current existential crisis. If I get another 20 years, and that's a generous estimate considering my caffeine intake and tendency to ignore expiration dates, what am I supposed to do with them? They won't look like what I pictured. There won't be matching rocking chairs or arguments about whose turn it is to take out the trash. There won't be someone to remember my coffee order or to text me ridiculous memes at inappropriate times during work meetings. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is figuring out what kind of meaningful could exist in this unplanned for life. Maybe it's about building something beautiful from the pieces you have left, even if it looks nothing like the original blueprint. Letting go of what could have been isn't about pretending you never wanted it. It's about holding space for the grief lost future while also making room for whatever wants to grow in its place. Now, I've said it before. It's about saying, this isn't the life I ordered, but it's the one I'm living, and I'm going to find a way to make it count. Because that means friendships that become your chosen family. And maybe it's creative work that gives your days new shape and purpose. Maybe it's moments of unexpected peace that sneak up on you when you're least expecting them. Like when you're watching the sunset and suddenly remember that you're still here, still breathing, still capable of being amazed by the way light hits the clouds. I'm starting to think that maybe the milestone isn't a date on the calendar. Maybe it's not how many years you can rack up with one person. Maybe it's about how many times you can choose to show up for the life you actually have instead of the one you thought you were supposed to get. And maybe it's about releasing the timeline you thought you needed in order to feel whole. Maybe it's about saying, this is enough. This messy, unplanned, sometimes lonely, but always surprisingly full of life is enough. And I'm still here. Because healing isn't about catching up on where you thought you would be by now. It's about showing up for the Tuesday morning coffee that tastes better than it should, for the friend who texts you terrible jokes, for the quiet moments when you realize you're actually okay, even when okay wasn't what you were aiming for. So today, if the what could have been start creeping around in your mind like uninvited guests, take a moment, breathe, feel it, let it be real and valid and heartbreaking, and then ask yourself, what's still possible from here? What new kind of beautiful might be waiting to be discovered? Yeah, I'd love to know, what new milestones are you creating for yourself, big or small? What does enough look like in your unplanned for life? Go ahead and drop a comment. I hope to see it soon. Thanks for watching.